Okay, we got cut off because the devil doesn't want to hear this message. So go ahead, Dawn.
No,
Okay.
no, but I just, when you called and we got caught up with everything that was happening with you, and I was so happy to hear from you because I knew that was an answered prayer, that God placed you in our path in Tampa. And like you said, we've been in contact, but we've been missing each other. And then just to catch up and realize that God is moving all of us in a big way. I just got the chills because I know nothing can stop God and nothing can stop what we want to do to glorify Him. And that's, I just love you, Chris. I really appreciate everything that you're doing, and anything that we can help you in return, we want to do. Right, ladies?
It's just getting the word out and just getting, making God famous. I mean, that's what I'm about, is making God famous. I don't need to be famous. I was famous. I had it. I need to make God famous. And, to the gentleman, I always bring him up. He's probably sorry that he ever confronted me. He's like, you're talking about making God famous. God's famous. I was like, really? So that's why we're living in the situation we're in now. That's why our children don't pray in church. I mean, pray in school. That's why we took God out of everything. Is that why? Is that why that we have like Satan running this earth? God is not famous. We need to make him famous. We need to make him a household name. Every household needs to have God in it. And so that's what I love. And, the people that I've encompassed myself around are people like that. And if they're not that, they need to go, and they become an acquaintance. And then I'm like, hey, next, because the Lord put people in your life for a season. Might be a day, a week, a month, a year. We don't know. 10 years, doesn't know. You never know. I was telling somebody yesterday, when God takes them out of your life, don't chase after them. Don't. There's a reason He's cleaning your plate.
Absolutely.
And He's putting somebody else in your life, but He's got to clear that plate. And for me, in the last year, almost year now coming up, God had to clear my plate. I mean, like the whole thing, my MLM, the whole 9 yards. And now, which I'm going to talk to you ladies about, the ID Life, I've got them partnered up with me. They're the only nutritional company in the world. They have the patent where, according to your DNA fingerprint, they pick the vitamins for you. How about that, Michelle, Dawn, and Lorraine?
Oh, I've been waiting for that for 20 years. 20 years. I know it exists, but I can't lay my hands on it.
Well, now you could be part of it with me. And literally, I can't even make this up. If I took a rock and threw it out my window, I'd hit his company.
Unbelievable.
I'm less than a mile away. I met with him 2 weeks ago. He's friends with Chris Tomlin and Carrie Underwood, and all these. His products are insane. I took a tour in the warehouse. I've got podcasters flying in tonight for my show on Saturday. I'm taking them there tomorrow because they want to be a part of this. And what company gives you 30, 40%? Not too many people.
I've been waiting for something like this for a while because I've been studying nutrition just on my own as a hobby for many, many years, since like 2003 or something like. So you can take all the allergy testing you want and whatever. And, I think the first time when I started back on my hormones, I had 26 vials of blood taken just to do a blood panel, but it was an extensive blood panel, but at the end of the day, it's like, okay. And then you have the type O diet and this and that, but it's like, okay, I'm an O negative. So it's like, but what still is right specifically for me?
You.
Right.
Me.
Exactly.
So your cells have memory, and maybe my cells don't like beets. I have no idea. I never really ate beets, but they don't like beets, so I mean, I don't know, but I want to know what is good for me. But I can tell you, when you isolate your foods, you sort of figure it out, but it's very hard to do that and understand. I mean, it's crazy. So if this is something that is based on your own DNA.
Yeah. So I walk in right now, I walk into this place. I'm gonna take video of it tomorrow and put it on my podcast. So I walk in there 2 weeks ago, meet the owner. Okay. So I meet with him. Now there's a desk and there's the woman, the executive assistant, who I'm good friends with now. Behind her is clear glass and the orders are coming in according to the DNA. So you get a DNA kit, you do the DNA, you send it to them. And according to your DNA, they pick the vitamins right there. And I've never seen, you talk about transparent.
Wow.
I have never seen a more transparent company. And when we were going through the warehouse, I said to Logan, Logan, I could eat my food off this floor every day. That's how clear, it was a warehouse. He goes, funny you say that. He goes, when the FDA came in, he goes, they said we were the cleanest warehouse, not in nutrition, the cleanest warehouse they've ever seen in their life.
Wow.
And I was like, this is a company, it's Christian based. This is a company I can get behind because number one, they care. They care what they're putting in the product. They're so transparent about it. And I'll blow your mind. So we're sitting there talking. So Carrie Underwood is married to Mike Fisher, who's a hockey player. So Logan goes to their house and Mike Fisher is like, hey, you want a chocolate protein shake? So he makes up a protein shake for Mike. He says to Carrie Underwood, hey, Carrie, you want a protein shake? She goes, I would, but I'm vegan. He goes, oh, I don't have vegan. She goes, you don't have vegan? He went back to corporate and now they have a vegan shake.
Wow.
And the energy that he has, obviously you can see how much energy I have. I believe that between the IMF and their products, I can't believe, I've only slept last night, maybe 3.5 hours, 4 hours. And this is my third podcast today already.
Oh, wow.
So,
and
it's
you have
just
bags under your eyes.
no. And well, that's another thing. They had this re-energizer serum.
I need it.
Yeah, I think they said it was like a Nobel Peace Prize, a winner or something like that. He has that. And so the products, and the reason I'm talking about it is because that's something I would want on there. That's what I'm going to put on Mike Lindell. That's who's partnering up with me. And what you put in your body, and this is what I'm teaching people. I talk about flex your mind, flex your muscles, flex the truth, right? So you flex your mind because you got to use that muscle, your mind, right? If you don't use it, you lose it. If you're not working out, if you're not doing 30 minutes a day, ask yourself, aren't I worth it? And this isn't your temple. This is God's temple, right? So all I'm going to do is take care of this temple until we're dirt, right? We're all going to be dirt. And then the other thing is our soul. Who are the people you're around? Because the people that you're around are the ones that might infiltrate you, good or bad. I don't like to have yes people around me. I can't stand, if you're going to say yes, 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 you're really not, you don't have integrity. And I'm not going to ever grow because you might be saying yes, and I might be doing something that is totally against God, totally against everything I believe and my makeup, but you yes me to that. I like people that are challenge me, that I'm going to grow. And that's what you ladies are going to do. You're going to challenge other people to think outside of the box.
And to step up.
Yeah, and step up.
Yep.
And the norm is not working anymore. So if the normal isn't working, you got to do something different. And you ladies are offering something totally different for the consumer.
Chris, this nutritional company, are they based in Dallas?
Frisco.
Well,
hello.
Well, I have a dear friend of mine who is a special needs nutritionist who loves the Lord, who works with special needs kids. This would be a good partnership or like at least for her to learn about this company and see how they can work, because she's all about the proper supplements and all that stuff as well. But this could be a good connection for the two of them.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love it. And it was so crazy because again, Jim Dowd, I meet at Gettysburg after my event. He comes up to me, asks me to take a picture with him. I'm like, hey, you have a Jersey accent, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, oh, you're Jim Dowd, Stanley Cup champion, like Philadelphia Flyer, like, his wife, as my mouth is wide open, goes, you hear me like, so I partnered up with him. He's now, part of my merchandising, and he goes, Chris, let me talk to you about something. And I've had so many nutrition companies after me, and even on my podcast, like, oh, just put it on the podcast, we'll pay you. I'm like, but I don't use it. I'm not, it's not IMF. It's not, but it's so funny. The other night I went out to eat, or I got a takeout, and I walked in, I had a tank top, and the guy's like, oh, that guy needs more protein. Cause I ordered protein. So he's like, oh, that guy needs more, like he needs more protein. And I'm like, imagine if I had a protein company and I said this a month ago, imagine if I had a protein company on my podcast. People would buy it just because I said it.
Right.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then the Lord brought me ID Life.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing. We love the Lord.
What is the
How
name?
He does that.
ID Life. Mm-hmm. Yep. I'll send you girls video and information after I get off. Fair enough.
Cool.
And I'll put you with Jim. Yeah.
I am not vegan.
I'm meat and potatoes.
Chris, do you know who Dave Schultz is from the Flyers?
Oh, I sure do. Jim Dowd is best friends with him.
Shut up. I met Dave, oh gosh, when the Panthers first came to South Florida, I did the NHL All-Star, and I got to know Dave, and we were going to work on some projects together, but nothing really came to fruition. But yeah, I mean, nicest guy.
Yeah.
The enforcer.
Broad Street Bullies.
Right?
Broad Street Bullies. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's so crazy.
I know. I meant to ask you that the other day, and I thought, well, I forgot, but I thought,
he's friends with all of them. And the one thing about him, I'll put him with you guys. The one thing about him, because I think he'll get behind this too. Hey Jim, I got something you want to get behind, because I know you're going to see this podcast with Lisa, But he's such a humble guy. Him and his wife, they're about helping people out. They're about helping children. So that's their charity. Obviously, the ministry I'm going to start, they'll get behind. But what I love about him is that he could get along with anybody when he was in the NHL. That's why he played for 10 different teams.
Yeah.
Right? Because he could get along with anybody. He's like, if you were Catholic, I got along with you. If you were Christian, I got along with you. If you were atheist, I got along. He's like, I didn't care.
Right.
And he fought depression. You have to watch the podcast where I interview him, but he fought depression. Yeah, he fought depression. And, I said to him, oh, you were on this Ryan Cote, and they have this knucklehead podcast. I was like, you got to get me on that. He's like, oh, I do. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be with the Flyers, like the Fly Guys, like this crazy.
That's hysterical.
So this is so even funny. All right. If I could bring divine intervention for people out there that don't believe in God, right? Okay, so if you don't believe I was supposed to be with ID Life, okay, then you tell me how I linked up with Jim Dowd from Brick, New Jersey, okay, in Gettysburg, PA. Then I moved to Texas. ID Life is literally in my backyard. Oh, wait for it. My brother lives in Jersey. Ask me where he just bought a house.
Where Jim lives.
Brick.
Wow.
So then my brother's like, what is this ID Life? I'm like, oh, I'm getting in there with Jim Dowd. He's like, oh, I'm in. It's nutrition. I'm in. Because my brother lost 60 pounds.
Oh, I need to lose some weight.
And I told my brother, I said, Matt, imagine if we had these products. He's like, yeah. He's like, you're in it. you're behind a nutrition company, I'm in it. He goes, can I be first? I go, you can be first.
Yeah.
and then, so Jim is like, I love Jim. He's like, oh, your brother's going to be right in my backyard. I'm going to have meetings at my house. I'm like, ooh, my brother's going to be best friend.
I just want to know, if Jim got along with everybody. Did he ever get into fights on the ice? Because that's one of my favorite parts of hockey.
Of course it is.
Nice fight.
So Jim was not an enforcer. He was actually a
Not like
center.
Dave? Yeah.
No, he was actually a sniper. So in college, he was championships. You know, the dude had more goals. Actually, Herb Brooks was one of his coaches. He had the best coach when he first started out. Yeah. And so, you know, for him, you talk about the Lord and his testimonial. He's been a Christian now, I think 2 years. He gets up every single morning. He does the word of the Lord. That book that you gave me, Dawn, that I read.
Jesus Calling.
Jesus Calling. He has that book.
Good.
Right. And for you people out there, you know, Jesus Calling, that should be in your nightstand.
Absolutely.
You
need to get her book on our platform.
Absolutely. Yes. And so
I do want to mention that one of the first pieces of content that we are going to have on our Roku channel is one of my dear friends we tried to figure this out, which I don't really want to say the amount of time we've been friends because it might age us, but I'm 2 years younger than you, Chris. So we've been friends for at least 30 years. And she's got a great podcast called Amazing Grace Ministries. And her name is Erica C. Meyer Williamson. So she's going to be one of the first pieces of content that's actually that we put on our channel, just to let everybody know.
Yep. And is that Amanda Grace? Is she with Amanda Grace?
No, this is just Amazing Grace. That's her podcast. She lived in South Dakota for a while and she's done ministry. She holds retreats there. She's holding retreat, I think, Mother's Day weekend in Dallas, or at one of the church's ranches that they have, like their camps that they have.
Yeah.
So she actually lives in Dallas.
I would love to meet up with her, get her on my podcast. I'd love to get on her podcast.
Yes, she's
absolutely
great. So she and her daughter, my son and her daughter have been friends since they were babies. We were friends before they were born. And so she's fantastic, great personality. You guys will get along splendid.
Yeah. I mean, here's what I tell you. If you can't get along with me, then you don't like people. Take it up with the big guy. I get along with everybody. Like when I spoke in Portland, did I tell you this story? It's so funny. So I go to Portland and it's me and Ann Vanderstilt, we're the headliners. So we go there and they're like, man, I said, you're moving me around and, why are you putting me earlier instead of later when more people will be? And he's like, well, to be honest, he's like a bunch of lumberjacks here, like meat and potato guys. And, you're a baby Trump,
In
and
Portland.
I'm like, in Portland. Right. And I was like, oh, okay. So I get up there. It's so funny. I get up there. I do my speech and, I do the loving and teach people how to love. So as I'm talking about hugging, this guy runs up on stage and I look at him like, is he going to tackle me or something? Because I had my own bodyguard there. My bodyguard let him go up. I'm looking at him like, is he okay?
What the heck? Right.
Yeah. What are you standing? Let this big guy come up. So I'm standing there and he puts his arm out like this to hug me. So he wanted to hug me and show other people. So I didn't know who he was. And when we were done, Scott's like, man, you hit it out of the park. He's like, do you know that guy that hugged you? He's one of the biggest, baddest dudes in Oregon. I was like, no. He's like, man, he loved on you. I go, yeah. He goes, did you talk to him prior? I go, no, I didn't even know who he was. So the point being is that breaking down barriers, that's what we're here to do, whether it's shopping, whether it's podcasting, whether it's just in your school, in your community, it's breaking up barriers. You know what I said to somebody in my podcast yesterday? I said, lucky I'm not in school. They said, why? I said, because I'd get up every single morning in a public school and I'd start praying. And I wouldn't care what repercussions there would be. Imagine if there was a child that did that in every school, in every class, what a different world this would be.
Oh, no kidding. Amen. We need that.
So that's one of my favorite things I loved about you, Chris, when we met was the hug.
The heart to heart.
The heart to heart hug is like one of the best things ever.
Yeah. And it really, you know, you guys will get to see it on Saturday in San Antonio and Dallas, but you know, it's so simple, but people don't realize how much it means to them to do it, you know, running, like going in sheets in PA. Listen, I went and got a burrito here in Texas. I think I was here 2 weeks and I had my shades on. I walked in and the guy's like, he was a young kid. He's like, hey, you look familiar. And I was like, oh, I had a show on HGTV. He goes, no, he goes, and I started talking and I said something. He goes, you're baby Trump. And he's like, I know how to hug. And he comes running out with his arms and I'm looking at people and he hugged me. He's like heart to heart. And
see, that's so sweet.
If people remember that, heart to heart, and then take that and learn and then go teach other people, that's what we need, is something that's simple, just like writing out a check to these 3 lovely ladies. It's so simple. It's so simple. It will mean the world, not only to them, but to think about the vendors, think about the consumers, think about what you're doing. Could you imagine right now if I sat there and said, come here, I want you to write out a check for $25 or whatever you feel in your heart, but a minimum $25. And oh, by the way, this will probably launch QVC. I just want to let you, I know you never heard of it. It's 3 letters, right? Just CSN, right? CSN, not CNN, CSN, Charity Shopping Network. This is going to launch Charity Shopping Network, and you are going to be a part of that. So write out your check, whatever you feel in your heart. And, you know, you ladies, as I'm talking to you, something comes across. The definition of success is a person or a group of people getting collectively together and making a courageous decision. The word courageous comes from courage. Put them on, right? Of the heart.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
Listen to it, right? Put them on. Imagine if I went in a box room and it's like, oh, put them on. They'd be like, he's lost his mind. They like drop their hands like, what? And then boom.
Oh God, I wish I could have been there. I would have laughed so hard.
Right? But it's of the heart. Courageous is courage. It's French, of the heart. So the courage comes from the heart. You ladies have made a courageous decision. And now that's where success lies in. Now you just need other people to get on board, $25 or more, whatever you feel in your heart, write it out to these 3 ladies. It's not going for their next cruise or trip or brand new car or anything like that. It's actually going to do a great thing for this country.
Yeah.
We actually do have other jobs that support our life. So this is definitely to build Charity Shopping Network, and we want people to be a part of it and help us build it together and have a say in, you know, sort of what the experience they want to have. So
and the other two people I want to call out real quick, Mike Lindell, I will be talking to you. These are the 3 ladies that I'm going to talk to you about. And the other person I'm going to talk to is Patrick Byrne. Patrick Byrne is going to be on my show. Patrick, Overstock.com. You can do a great thing for these ladies just by helping them and support them. Sydney Powell, I have your number as well. I'm going to get a hold of you. I think you could be, do something great for these ladies. You're a female yourself. You know what
Yeah.
this means to them, man. If you could get back and support something like this,
Yeah.
and anybody else in my Rolodex, that I come across, I will mention this as I go on every podcast. I'll talk about it. When I'm in front of people, I'll talk about it, because the word has to get out.
Yeah.
That's all.
Absolutely.
The word has to get out. And the more people that know about it, it's like the first time you heard Facebook, you're like, Facebook, what the hell? Facebook that's not for me, right? And then you're like, right? And then you're like, oh, okay. And then second time you hear like, oh, the Facebook,
Right.
And the third time you're like, I got to join Facebook.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And the other thing that people have to realize is you have to take that step of faith. Yep. And then God will take care of the rest. But you keep putting that foot in front of the other, because we've been working on this for what, almost 4 years now. And like you said earlier, we've been patient, but we've waited on God to bring us the right people to partner with. And Chris, that is definitely you. And we're so blessed to have met you. And just what you want to do for us, and we're gonna pay it forward, but we're also gonna pay it back to you too.
I love that. I just want you guys to be successful. Just give all your glory and praise to the Lord. Michelle, Lorraine, do you have a last word?
I would ask for prayers. We need prayers for us and you as well, Chris. And like I do every day, I also pray for this country and this world. We are on the precipice of a brand new era, and we need to pray for the brave people that are doing the hard work, the really hard work of rescuing kids and clearing tunnels and doing all the things that we need to do to turn the dark to light. And so I pray for them every day. We're doing our own little small part in the whole thing, but it's for the patriots, of the patriots, all the way. And every day I surround all of it with love and light and truth, and ask that only love, light, and truth come to us all. Amen.
I love it. Amen. Well, I love it. Well, listen, I'm just going to tell you guys, write out a check, $25 or whatever you're feeling in your heart for these ladies, and share this podcast with other people. Let other people see what these three lovely ladies are trying to do for this country, right? Remember,
absolutely.
Flex your mind, flex your muscles, flex the truth. If you flex your mind, your muscles, and the truth, you are now aligned with God. You can do His work, His will, His way, but more importantly, His words. Guys, love you girls. I'll talk to you off camera. I'll send you that information, and God bless you guys.
God bless you, Chris. Thank you.
Bless you. Thank you.